You are speaking English. The conversation is going well. And then you need one specific word. You can feel it. You know you studied it. You saw it maybe 10 times. But in that moment, nothing. You freeze. You panic. You say, how can I say this? And after the conversation, when you are alone in the shower, the word suddenly appears perfectly in your mind. Very helpful, right? Why does this happen? Why do most people forget English words even after studying for years? And more important, what can you do so that words do not just enter your brain for a test, but actually stay available when you need them in real life? Today, we will explore why your brain forgets English words, what most learners do wrong when they study vocabulary, and practical strategies to make words stick longer, deeper, and feel more natural when you speak. And before we start, if you enjoy content that goes deeper than memorize this list and really explains how your brain learns languages, take a second to like this video and subscribe. That simple action tells the platform and tells me to keep making real training videos for you. Now, Part 1. You are not bad with words. Your method is, many learners think, I am stupid. My memory is terrible. I am not good with languages. But look at your own life. You probably remember the names of your favorite songs, details of TV series, stories from years ago, gossip about people. Your brain can remember a lot. So the problem is not that your brain is broken. The problem is that English words are usually studied in a way that your brain does not like. Your brain remembers best what is emotional, repeated over time, connected to a story, used in real situations. Most vocabulary learning is the opposite. Dry lists. No emotion, no story, no real use. So the first big idea is, stop blaming yourself. Start blaming and changing the method. Part 2. The 3 types of knowing a word. When you say, I know this word, there are actually different levels of knowing. Level 1. Recognition. You see the word in a text and think, I have seen this. You can guess the meaning with context. Level 2. Understanding. You can more or less understand the word when you read or listen, even without much context. Level 3. Active use. You can use the word in your own sentences when you speak or write, without spending 10 seconds searching in your brain. Most learners stay at level 1 and level 2. They know a word when they see it, but they cannot produce it under pressure. So in conversation, it feels like they know nothing. Your goal, if you want fluency, is to move words from passive knowledge to active use. This needs a different type of practice. Part 3. Why the brain forgets. A little science. Your brain is not a storage room. It is a survival machine. Every day you are exposed to thousands of words, images, and sounds. If your brain kept everything with equal strength, you would be overwhelmed. So it has a rule. If this information is not important for survival or for what this person does often, I will let it fade. You study a list of 20 new words one night. Your brain thinks, we only saw this once. No emotion, no real situation, probably not important. So, after a few days, poof, gone. This is called the forgetting curve. We naturally forget most new information very quickly, unless we see it again at the right times and in meaningful ways. So the secret is not to fight your brain, but to work with it. Part 4. Why word lists alone almost never work. Let us talk about the classic method. You open a book or an app. You see word, translation. You repeat it 10 times. You feel productive. But most of these words disappear when you try to speak. Why? Reason 1. No context. The brain loves context. When a word is part of a sentence, a situation, a story, it has hooks to hang on in your memory. When it is alone on a list, there's nothing to connect it to. Reason 2. No emotion. Lists are boring. Your brain does not release much emotion when you read. Umbrella, guarda-chuva. No drama. Reason 3. No active use. You are only seeing the word, not using it in your own way. It is like watching someone else do push-ups and expecting your muscles to grow. So lists can be a starting point, but if you stop there, you will forget most of what you learned. Part 5. The power of meaningful repetition. To make a word stick, you need 2 things: repetition and meaning. Not repeating 20 times in one day, but repeating a few times over days and weeks. This is called spaced repetition. Your brain gets repeated signals that this word keeps coming back. It thinks, okay, this thing appears often. Maybe it is important. Let us keep it. But repetition must be meaningful. Seeing the word again and again in a boring list is weak. Seeing the word in different sentences, in a story, in a conversation, and then using it yourself is strong. So the question becomes, how can I repeat words in ways that are interesting and practical? Part 6. Turn new words into mini experiences. Here is a simple method to make new words stick better. Step 1. Choose fewer words. Instead of trying to learn 30 words in a day, choose 5 or 7. Your brain prefers depth over volume. Step 2. Put each word in a personal sentence. Not a textbook sentence. A sentence about your life. For example, new word, exhausted. Textbook example. He was exhausted after work. Your personal example. I feel exhausted after meetings with my boss. New word. Delay. Personal example. There was a delay in my project last month because my computer broke. Step 3. Say the sentence out loud 3 times. Feel the word in your mouth. Imagine the situation. Step 4. Use the word later in the day in a message, a note, or a fake conversation with yourself. You are turning an abstract word into a small experience connected to your real life. That is what your memory loves. Part 7. Use stories and situations, not just isolated sentences. Our brains are natural story machines. We remember plots, characters, emotions. If you only learn disconnected sentences, your brain has to work harder to store them. Try this instead. When you have several new words, create a tiny story that uses them all. For example, you want to remember exhausted, delay, argument, deadline. You could invent. Last week I had a big deadline at work. There was a delay because my coworker and I had an argument about the project. At the end of the week, I was completely exhausted. Now these words live together in a small movie in your mind. Later, when you think of one word, the others can appear with it. Part 8. Why you forget words in conversation even if you know them. Have you noticed? You can remember a word when you are calm alone, but forget it under pressure when speaking. This is normal. In conversation, your brain is busy doing many things at the same time. Listening, thinking of ideas, translating, worrying about mistakes, managing social pressure. Your mental RAM is full. So, some words that are weakly stored do not appear fast enough. 2 solutions help here. First, reduce translation. If you are always thinking in your native language first, Your brain has to. Think of the idea in language 1. Translate to English. Search for vocabulary. That is heavy. So practice thinking directly in simple English sentences, even when alone. Describe your room, your actions, your day. The more you train this, the easier it is for words to come out naturally. Second, practice low-pressure speaking. You need environments where making mistakes is safe. Talking to yourself, recording voice notes, text-to-speech apps, friendly conversation partners. When your nervous system is calmer, your brain can access more vocabulary. Over time, words that you use regularly in speech become faster and more available. Part 9. Connect words in networks, not in isolation. Your brain stores information as networks, not as single points. If you learn the word exhausted together with tired, drained, burned out, plus opposites like energetic, rested, and common phrases like emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, you have a rich web. Later, even if one word hides, another word from the same family can appear. You do not lose the whole idea. So when studying a new word, ask, what are similar words? What are opposite words? What are common phrases with this word? You are not just collecting words. You are building a mental map. Part 10. Use English for real things, not only for study. Words you only see in exercises will always feel weak. Words you use to live your life become strong. So try to move English from study mode to life mode. For example, change the language of your phone or some apps to English. Write your to-do list in English. Search on the internet in English about topics you like. Write short messages to friends in English, if possible, even if the grammar is not perfect. When English is part of your daily actions, words repeat automatically in real contexts. Your brain thinks, we actually use this. Let us keep it. Part 11. Be patient with the forgetting process. This part is important. Forgetting is not a sign that you are failing. It is part of the learning process. You will forget words, then see them again, then forget again, then remember more quickly. Each cycle makes the memory a little stronger. So instead of thinking, I saw this word before and I forgot, I am terrible, try, oh, here is this word again. My brain is giving it another layer. Nice. You are building a wall of bricks. Each repetition is one brick. The wall does not appear after one brick, but that brick is still necessary. Part 12. A simple weekly routine to remember more words. Let us put this into a practical plan. Day 1. Choose 5 to 7 words you really want for your life right now. Make personal sentences with each one. Say them out loud. Create one tiny story using them all. Day 2. Review your sentences and story. Then, without looking, try to tell the same story again with the new words. Day 3. Listen to or read something in English where these words might appear. If they do not, no problem. At the end, quickly review your sentences again. Day 4. Use at least 2 of the new words when you speak, even if it is only to yourself or in a voice message to a friend. Day 7. Quick review of all the words from this week. Ask yourself, can I still use them in a simple sentence? This routine is not heavy, but it gives your brain multiple meetings with each word. Different days, different contexts, different uses, exactly what it needs to say. Okay, we keep this. As we move toward the end, remember this. Forgetting words does not mean you are bad at English. It means you are human. Most people forget English words because they try to force vocabulary into their brains with methods that your brain does not respect. Lists without context. No repetition over time. No personal connection. No real use. When you start to learn fewer words with more depth, put them into your life, meet them again and again in meaningful ways, and practice using them when you speak, something changes. Words stop being tourists in your brain. They become residents. They live there. They are not always perfect, not always fast, but they are available when you need them more and more often. If this video helped you understand why you forget words and what to do about it, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. And in English, write in the comments. What is one English word you always forget? And what is one personal sentence you can create with it today? Write the word. Write your sentence. Because the more you connect words to your real life, the more they will stay in your memory, and the easier it will feel to speak English with less fear, more flow, and a vocabulary that finally follows you into real conversations, not just into your notebook,